Run and Shoot 101 continues with how to run 60Z Go in College Football 25. 60 Go is probably the most famous run and shoot play. It's one of the plays that Mouse Davis began running at Portland State and then continued to develop on it and make it a core part of what he did throughout the 80s. So for that 80s style run and shoot, this is a must. This is what it looked like back at Portland State. The flat route there had the opportunity to wheel up. The motion back crosses past the wing back, what they called the one that didn't motion, and he could either cut up immediately as soon as he's past him or about 3 steps past him, depending on the quarterback. So the quarterback would sync that up, and as soon as he snapped the ball, then he got vertical. Later, they moved away from using so much of that motion, and when they did, the play became a little bit more static and more like this. The H route is going to get vertical. He's going to take that outside angle, and if that flat defender gets hands on him, then he's going to open it up and basically be a pick for that little flat route underneath. But if the flat defender widens immediately to take the flat route, then he's going to be ready to catch that ball as soon as he clears the flat defender. I've covered this play before, about 2 or 3 years ago, and when it looked like this is kind of the standard way Go has looked in Madden in the past. You have the deep curl over on the left, the flat route that does not hitch at the end, you have the inside seam read, and then you had a runoff fade. Now in the new one, you have runoff fades by both the outside guys, and your Y is going to kind of run in and then break back out, which is probably closer to how it should have been always. There's also return go, which will have that back and forth return motion, or what they call yap motion in the run and shoot, and then he's going to go out on the flat. And then there's also return go swap, which is basically go, but 1 and 2 switch their release, and they switch their landmarks. So the outside guy is going to run the inside streak read, more or less, and the outside guy is going to run the fade, which is now a wheel. So this is what the new play looks like in the game. I did tag in a deep curl over there on the left. I like that against cover 1 as a backup plan. That route on the left is not usually going to be part of your read and your progression, so putting him on that deep curl is, I think, somewhat helpful if you are seeing a lot of cover 1. If you've been liking this series, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps get this video out.
Cover 1 hole.
So like I said up top, one thing I do like to do is put X over on a curl, and I'll smart route him, or I'll make him custom stem to 15 yards to kind of give you an option in case you get cover 1, because on this instance, on that rep, that was a good place to go. I'm not going to do that every play on here, but just so you're aware. So your eyes are going to start over there on the right. You're going to be watching number 2, and both of those guys were kind of covered by cover 1, which is what happens with the new version a decent amount against cover 1. So you see number 2 gets the flat defender, the guy over him, gets hands on number 2. So you know that it must be some sort of man. I looked at the flat, I didn't like it better, so then I waited for him to curl. And that's going to be something that happens pretty consistently. Here's the return go. And this time I'm running it to the field, but in general I like the return go more into the boundary like this. It kind of makes the flat route harder to throw, but I feel like it gives you much better options down the field, and that's honestly the only reason I'm running these return motion versions rather than the one with the correct little jab step out. It's almost a speed out, but it's a little bit more of a flat. It's somewhere in between those two things. The route that's there on the new play is just so good. And the flat one is honestly not that good, at least in College Football 25. Maybe it'll be better in Madden 25. We'll have to wait and see.
Cover 3 match.
Verse 3 match, versus most kinds of zone. This flat over here is going to do that jab step inside and then break out, and he's going to come open pretty consistently. And when he isn't, you're going to have this guy over the top. Ideally, you want to get the ball out faster. It should almost be like quick game.
If you have any questions, put them down in the comments.
It does play it a little bit differently sometimes if you have halfback strong, because you're getting a different check out of 3 match. So in this case, now he runs a fade instead of doing a curl or a post. But if you can get your guy beat, you can win deep. You're just going to want to pass lead at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. Make sure you put air under it. Looking at our return go. Now when they're stacked up like that, yeah, that flat comes so open, and it's so tempting to want to be able to throw that, but if you throw it, it's going to be dead. That's the downside of running this into the boundary. But the plus side is you could really stack up these defenders and get this to get vertical and far away from that one high safety. It kind of makes up for it. So if I go with one of these plays, I'm really looking for getting the ball vertical, whereas if I'm running the one with that jab step out, it's really going to be more of a quick gameplay. Touchdown.
Cover 3 Sky.
Against 3 Sky, let's look how these go plays play. Got hands on number 2 by that flat defender, which opens this guy up. That's a 20-yard gain off a small little route. Here again, hands are on number 2. He recovers a little bit better, but still, that's another rep where I got 20 yards. Let's look at the return go. And as soon as he clears that flat defender, just rifle it in there. Now, in real life, they have a screen version of Go called Go Blast, and then they have a shot play off of that called 60 Go Blast Pump. And in that, they don't really even read the flat defender. It's all about the 2 verticals. And that's how I'm treating these return plays right now.
Cover 4 quarters.
Against quarters, it's going to default to 4 drop zone because we have a 4 strong set. And versus 4 strong, this is really, really good. You have that flat defender trying to take the go route for a second and then rally late. So, and it's even more extreme if you're all the way on this left hash mark. So just keep that in mind. For some reason, with the split close version, there's some weird things when you're all the way on that hash mark that you don't see with the gun trips version. And it just has to do with, I think, where the number 2 receiver is lining up. But you can see they convert on this one the same. Now, if you have that halfback weak, now things are going to play very differently. You're not going to see the post over the top. Instead, after he clears that jam, he's going to curl and sit down. Nothing's really open here against it, but if you wait long enough, that will come open there. But that's like 4 seconds in the pocket, which you don't want to have happen. Now we're looking at our little shot play, seeing if any of these guys can win deep. Again, we're in the pocket a really long time. This is not ideal, but both the outside guys could win one-on-one, and then you end up again with that curl coming open there late. Looking at go swap. If you see everyone coming down and there's no one deep outside, you can hit that little hole right there.
Cover 4 palms.
One of the wackiest things they have going on in College Football 25 is in palms, the outside guy versus trips will just line up pressed, and you can beat him over the top pretty consistently. So if you do see that look where it's 2 across and backside the guy's off and over on that side he's pressed, not cloud, but pressed, then you can pretty safely assume that you're going to get that and you're going to be able to attack it deep when you're to the field. Or if you're looking on this side, you can throw it backside to that other runoff go because they're going to play kind of similarly. Against return go swap, you're going to have that wheel that's going to now be in that place. You see the guy runs all the way to the sideline and then plants, and now he's running straight up the field. You also have this guy going over the middle. I could have thrown that a little bit earlier there against that palms look. I'm sure I will here against cover 6, though.
Quarter, half.
because cover 6 is going to play the same exact stuff to the trips, which is nice for us because it's no new learning. Going to get that out if he's open. I mean, and at this point, we're just making it super simple. No one's getting jammed here. So really, both of them are open. It's what do you feel more confident in? Probably should dump it off there to A most of the time, but you can squeeze it in there. And this, of course, is with the halfback strong. So again, we're getting a 4-drop side and a 2-drop side. And they're just spot dropping. They're not matching these receivers at all, allowing you just to pick it apart. Now here you can hit outside deep, hit B, and make sure you put air under it. That's a new button this year. It's left trigger on Xbox. I think it's L2 on PlayStation. And that just puts a little bit more air under the ball, gets the ball a little bit further down the field, and better position for your receiver to make a rat catch on it. If you haven't messed around with that yet, I definitely think you should go in practice mode and do so.
Half quarter quarter.
Half quarter quarter is a coverage that plays really differently than the rest of the quarters family in this game, and it also plays different enough from Tampa 2. You really should keep it in your back pocket as a change-up coverage. If you aren't, you're really kind of missing out. But against Go, it's not really that good. Especially with that halfback strong you were seeing, it was just coming wide open everywhere. You end up with that curl here, still pretty consistent.
Arby's, we have the run and shoot.
And against Go Swap, you have that switch down the field that's just wide open. One of the weak areas of half quarter quarter is that backside quarters one-on-one on an island. So if you do beat him, it's explosive.
Cover 2 zone.
Against 2 zone, it actually plays it pretty well. Normally you would try and look to get to number 1 outside in the hole shot, but really the clouds in this game block that pretty well. I could have probably dumped it off underneath, but he probably would have been caught immediately. If you time that just right, you can still hit that hole shot, but it just depends on how that cloud jams him. The wheel gets a cleaner release, so if you are seeing a lot of 2-man, I would probably go swap a lot more, especially if it's someone that's like making Tampa 2 their scheme.
Cover 2-man.
The name of the game with 2-man is you got to beat your guy, and unfortunately, everyone kind of is jammed up. You're hoping someone wins deep, but then you have the 2 deep halves there. You really need that post to break across the middle, but I mean, his guy is on him. If you pass lead it in front of him, maybe, but that's too risky of a throw to really rely on. With the version from Gun Trips, with a little bit wider splits by 2 and 3, he is breaking away on that out here. I should have thrown it, and I didn't. I am going to be able to get that post, though, over the middle. Really, it just becomes a foot race at that point. Here's where Go Swap is also going to be a little bit more effective because of that switch motion you have over there. You're going to be able to spring someone more open.
Cover 3 blitz.
The good thing about 3 blitz is that there's holes all in the coverage, so you're going to get guys wide open. Downside is pressure comes in a little bit faster. So if that guy gets jammed up, which you'll see a lot, it can end up in a bad play like that pick, or where you just don't have an option. If he does clear that blitzer and he doesn't run into him for some reason, it's a great play. But you need to be mindful of that against 3 blitz. If the guy over the little flat route is a blitzer, they can get all jammed up on the new version. And here you're just going to be able to throw that right over the middle.
Cover
Set holes everywhere.
Blitz.
2 blitz, place everything a little bit different. Another coverage I'd recommend people carry just because it does play different than how you might expect. But here, again, they're just going to be undermanned. I could have hit the post or that. Really, right now, it's wide open to him. or to the post. I'm going to take the post on this one because that's a bigger play. And maybe if you're a little bit better than me on the sticks, you can juke and spin and make that a home run play. Definitely the opportunity for it. That time it pass led it a little bit more vertical, and I am able to take it home. Oh, with a little pizzazz there at the end. But nothing wrong with just taking what you're given. See if you can get a little bit of spinning in and pick up some extra yards. Careful with that blitzer. If you throw it too early, he could be in the passing lane and jump on it. Here, I was able to get over on top of that soft squat once the route got to the flat and triggered him to come down.
Cover one blitz.
It's about this time, if you know that you're seeing a lot of one blitz for some reason, it can cause a lot of problems. So changing him to his blitz break, which isn't programmed into the game, is you put that live streak read onto a slant instead. And against man blitz looks, that's kind of what he should be doing. So you can manually do that. But even if you leave it alone and you leave it stock, we still have options, because you're going to see he's going to get hands on number 2. You're going to have 1 coming underneath there. You could probably dump it off to him, but he's going to curl there. And if you throw it on time to that curl against one man, any kind of one man, it's going to be really effective. But I think you could easily throw that flat and just pick up a few yards as well. Or get that curl and turn it upfield. If you're interested in coaching in the run and shoot, I definitely highly recommend the run and shoot certification course that AJ Smith runs over on CoachTube. You can check it out at Run and Shoot Certified. It is a little pricey, but it's well worth the money. Now, I saw my guy kind of had a momentum advantage there against his corner, so just threw it up where he could make a play on it.
0 blitz.
Now, this play stock is not going to be the greatest against cover 0 blitz, but you are going to have that little jab step out, which should still be pretty good. If there is a guy zoning off, he's not going to mess it up too much, but that zoned off extra defender is right in that passing window where I'm throwing this post. So that's something you need to be mindful of. When you're in cover 0, whoever's manned on that running back is going to drop into a zone if the running back blocks. So if you put that running back over here, though, on a swing, I found this to be really nice. You can end up getting that swing almost like a little screenplay, with the jab step flat being a lead blocker, with the other 2 being clear outs. That also will open up your stuff down the field. If they were to overcommit to taking this away, you're still going to have your live inside streak read that you can throw over the middle. You're also going to have your 2 outside fades still there. So if they do overcommit to taking away the halfback, you can then attack over the middle. With return go, you get a little bit better spacing on that guy breaking inside, especially because it's into the boundary. And on go swap, you're going to have a chance to hit that wheel over the top for a big play, assuming your blocking can hold up, which luckily mine did. And then there's no one deep to take you away. Touchdown. But if you did want to make that little blitz conversion, you could do the slant on this one outside, because this is go swap. And that times up a lot better. Your O-line doesn't have to be superhuman, or you get lucky. One of the other offenses that's really fun in this year's game is the air raid, and the stock air raid book has all the right play names, formation names, everything. They went all out and make it really cool. The USC book's great, the Colorado State playbook is great, and my buddy Madden Air Raid or the guy who runs Madden Air Raid, the YouTube channel, he's made a whole bunch of videos a few years ago. He made one just a few weeks ago preparing for College Football 25, and we need him to come back. He's also all over my Discord and always sharing great nuggets on the Air Raid and applying it to these video games. So I definitely recommend checking out the Discord, chatting with him, and let's see if we can get him to put out some more content for CFB 25. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel. He only has like 490 subscribers right now. I don't see why we can't get him up to at least 750.
So search him up, Madden Air Raid, and hit that subscribe and hit that bell icon for him too. He makes really good content, and we need him to come back.